Here's Uncle Bill who said, if you could just prove it to me, I'd believe. There he is out there. And here's the New Jerusalem. Here's Christ in his human form, high and lifted up above the city. Revelation says he retains his human form. Here are the saints. Here's all the evidence. I mean, think how that will provoke memory. Think of the things we'll remember. There's a panoramic review of the whole plan of salvation, the whole great controversy, and each one sees his place in it. And if there is that review, you see, and I believe there will be, they would see the cross, they'd see Gethsemane, they'd see the whole thing. And you watch. Uncle Bill said if he ever saw enough evidence, he'd come across. And you watch and you wait. It doesn't touch Uncle Bill at all. And you say, God, you were right in resurrecting him in this resurrection. Because God's diagnosis would not be wrong. If God had known Uncle Bill would be touched by the truth, he'd have resurrected him with the thief on the cross in the right resurrection, you see. And I think that the death of the wicked in the end only confirms God's diagnosis. Even the glory of him who is loved will not consume anybody who's in harmony. And if someone is out there by mistake, I mean, forbid, there will be no mistake. But let's say the heavenly computer had hiccuped and made a mistake, and here's Uncle Joe out there, never was such a saint. Don't worry. The glory of him who is loved will not hurt Uncle Joe if he's a real saint. And when the fires have consumed all that's out of harmony, he'll be standing there unhurt saying, wait for me, you know. And I don't know, the Lord might just do that to make a point, that the glory of him who is loved will not hurt anybody who's in harmony. And wouldn't you love to be on the committee to go and fetch Uncle Joe and bring him in, you know. So I see no problem there. Even your suggestion of a second chance. In a way, God offers them. Look at all that evidence. And if Uncle Bill should say, I didn't know it was like this. I love what I see. Is there still a chance for me? Do you think God would say, no, that's too late? If Uncle Bill really wanted to be saved, he'd say, wait a minute, stop everything. Let's go and get him in. But then God would have made a mistake in his diagnosis, and he doesn't. All are resurrected among the unbelievers are those who never could be won. And I think what's confirmed at the end by the very way God conducts the closing events is simply further and still further confirmation of the truth about God and the way he runs his family. And it's just nailed down for all eternity. And you imagine the tears that will flow as we watch relatives and friends and God watches his sinful children die. If one doesn't cry, then I don't think one should be there. It will be a terrible, sad time, but we'll view that awful moment from the perspective of eternity. It could be no other way. But then you see why Jesus had to die was to prepare us to see that and not misunderstand, to answer all the questions and accusations of Satan, and to confirm the truth about God. Yes, he values nothing higher than our freedom, but there can be no freedom without mutual trust and trustworthiness, order, love, self-discipline. There cannot be. And therefore God cannot allow to be members of the hereafter, people who cannot be trusted, who are not willing to listen. He cannot, and he will not. He will sadly let them go. But then comes the word, had he let them go sooner, they would have died sooner. In mercy, he waits and he waits and he waits. So to me, the death of Christ is the absolutely essential revelation of all the truths we need to know for the universe to remain free and secure for the rest of eternity. Without the death of Christ, it could not be accomplished.